I call today's talk The Only Day That Matters. The only day that matters, and that's today. Yay, we found it. The only day that matters, and we're already in it. Isn't that fantastic? So I want to read something first from the Holy Spirit's interpretation from the New Testament, from the book of, I think it's Hebrews. Yes, it is Hebrews. Surprise. And it's chapter 4, and it starts with verse 4, and it says, today is now. Are we clear? Today is now. The mistake you make is thinking that today is tomorrow. And so you see your true desire, but you put it off till another time. Truly, I tell you, if you do not choose the true desire of the heart now, it is because you believe that another desire may still be dearest to you. If you believe that another desire is dearest to the truth of your heart, you are sleeping because you've forgotten who you are and you have forgotten the truth of what you want. Today is now. And the mistake we make is thinking that today is tomorrow. Well, and how many of us, I'll spend today worrying. Tomorrow I'll spend the day in prayer. Today, I have concerns. Today is a Facebook day. Tomorrow will be meditation day. Because we're crazy. That's why. I have resentments to get to today. Tomorrow I'll talk with God and look into forgiveness. But today, the desire of our heart is here. And the desire of our heart is to know that we are loved. And our desire today is to know that all beings are loved. And today, right now, is the time to heal. Is the time to know that we have everything. I'm going to read a couple of Fillmore, or Unity, old Unity things. And the first is Charles Fillmore's invocation. And it says clearly, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations. And from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to thy perfect law. We're going to read it again, because it's worth reading, and you should look it up, and you should get a copy of this for yourself. Charles Fillmore, I got it on truthunity.org. Well, I've heard this since I first walked into Unity. Heard it many times, and I know I've read it before, but it's been a while. But it's, I am now in the presence of pure being, capital B, being, and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations. And from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world according to thy perfect law. This again has to do with the heart's desire. Erase, I love that. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations. Well, my mortal limitations is doubt. My mortal limitations is race consciousness. What is race consciousness? In case you're confused, that's me thinking we're separate. We're different. I think we're different because we look different. Erase my mortal limitations. How many of us want that to happen? How many of us want our mortal limitations to be erased? How many of you writers out there who are sitting in writer's block want your mortal limitations erased so you can go ahead and write without self-consciousness? How many of you? One. I have one. Do I have two? I have two. Okay, so we got two here. Nobody else raised their hand, though. And so how many want that to be blocked, or that block to be removed? How many of you who are going through a health challenge really, really want to have the mortal limitations removed so that you would no longer believe in sin, sickness, or death? And most people would say, oh, I do. I said, well, do you really? Would you really? Would you give up the words of sickness then? Would you erase from your vocabulary today? We're only looking for today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Only for today. Would you interrupt every word that says, I can't? Would you give up every word that says, it can't? Would you relinquish that just for today? There's no such thing as today, tomorrow. Just for today. When Monday gets here, it'll be today. When Tuesday gets here, it'll be today. But for today, would you put down your vocabulary, your thoughts, your vocabulary that says, I can't heal. I can't have this. I can't prosper. Would you put down those words so that you can say, I am now in the presence of pure being. You'd think I'd have this memorized, but I don't. I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit. I am now immersed in the presence of pure being. I know, I'm now in the presence of pure being and immersed in Holy Spirit. I'll have this memorized in a second here. I acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now erase my mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love bring into manifestation my world according to thy perfect law. And what is thy perfect law? Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So I now take on thoughts of God. I now take on thoughts of love. I interrupt the thoughts that would block me or confuse me. It has to be possible that all of us can all have a complete healing. It has to be possible. Can. If one clicks into that thing, if that is one's journey. And so it is my journey to heal. How do I know? Because I'm listening to this message right now. It is my journey to heal. Now, Mary L. Cooperfleet. Oh, she's an old-time Unity writer. She's not been around for a long time. Kupferle. I've heard her name so many times, and I still have a hard time pronouncing it. Kupferle. And she wrote a pamphlet called God is Healing You. When? Now. God is healing you now. And it's not that God is deciding to heal you now. It's the practice of God that is healing us now. Those of us who are choosing to practice God. And what she says is, God is healing you now. It is occurring at this very moment, whether you know it or not. You need not have some mystical experience. You need not feel any unusual physical sensation. You need not even be aware of how it is happening. You need only to relax, to let go, and to be assured that it is being done. If you are facing a healing challenge of any kind, you can be sure God's healing power will see you through. Indeed, it is happening at this instant. God is healing you now. Whether you are in your home or hospital or office or bus or plane or car, God's great love is there healing you now. Whether you have a lot of spiritual understanding or a little, whether you are old or young in physical years, whether you have a great deal of faith or little, you can grasp these few words, God is healing me now. They can bring you into a realization that will lead you into total healing, total rebirth, and total change of your life experience for good. The change may come instantly. If you are going through medical tests or under the care of a physician, you can silently know, God is healing me now. How do you feel about that? What do you think about that? God is healing me now. Would you let that replace your arguments for how you are not being healed? Would you just put down the arguments for why you can't be healed in any aspect of your life and take on the thought, God is healing me now. I don't have to know how. I don't have to know why. I don't even have to know when, according to the clock. The point is, God is healing me now. Not because God is a good guy or good gal. God is healing me now, and I'm willing to know it. even if I don't know it. It says here, I don't really have to even believe it. So why not? I guarantee you, you and I both have a better chance of healing with the statement, God is healing me now, than I do with, when will this end? That is not a healing statement, in case you weren't clear. What's wrong with me is not a healing statement. Or even to say, that is wrong with me and that's why I can't heal. That is not a healing statement. Do you want to heal? Is healing, whatever it is that you feel limited on, could that be the most important thing? God is healing me now. God is healing me now. Why? Because, and I want to hear the right words, because divine wisdom now erases my mortal limitations. Let that be your because. God is healing me now. We don't have to understand. It's kind of like turning on the light switch. We don't have to understand how the power flows through. And we know, as a couple of weeks ago, the power didn't flow through when we clicked the light switch. There was a blockage to the power. A line was down somewhere. And when the line got repaired, the power went back on. And it's the same for us in our prayer lives. We flip the switch. We may not feel the power, but we know there is a restoration of the lines, the downed lines of communication. They are being repaired. We just trust that we hold to it. I don't think anybody gave up during that storm or for days afterwards. I will never have power again. Did anybody say that? We're never going to have power in this house again. There will never be electricity here again. No, we all assumed at some point it's going to be repaired and we're going to have electricity. It's the same thing with your healing needs. Assume. Just make the assumption. It's going to happen. It's inconvenient until the restoration happens. I have certain amounts of fear. I have certain amounts of turmoil. It pushes buttons from my childhood. But right now, God is healing me. Right now. I don't know about tomorrow, but I do know about now. Yesterday, it wasn't happening. But today, God is healing me now. And so when we listen to Ken say, today is the first day of the rest of my life. Let this be the day to be reborn or to be born anew in your mind of faith in God, the good. God is healing me. When? Now. And that's what makes today the most important day ever. Because God is healing me now, and I know it. God is healing me now. The electricity is coming back on, and I know it. Isn't that a cool thing? You know, if the oil runs out of your house, yes, somehow nobody refilled the tank. You know you're going to make a phone call, and at some point that oil tank's going to be refilled. We had that happen one Christmas with 100 people coming. Suddenly we had no heat or hot water. The oil tank was empty. We don't know how it happened, but it happened. And we made a phone call. They came over. They filled up that tank. Poof, we had hot water. We had everything we needed. And we had heat and hot water. And it's like, oh, we need to trust that our mind and body can heal the same way. We know it's going to happen. And we know it now. We don't know when it'll take place. I can guarantee you when it does happen, it'll be now. As I say, at the sound of the tone, the time will be now. And so now we know it's going to happen. Are we willing to not put it off with our words? Could we interrupt the delay of the healing by putting down the words that say it's never going to happen, or will it ever happen? I had to laugh. Several years ago, it was that ice storm of Halloween time, many years ago, and our generator died 3 hours into it. And we had it was cold, it was snowy, that was some storm. And our generator died, so we had no power, no water, no well water, no nothing, even our sump pumps. It was something. On Sunday morning, I came to church, and there was somebody here who we're good friends with, who happened to be a celebrity. And I said, how's your generator working? And she said, oh, it works fine. I said, can we come stay with you and bring our cat? And we have the guest speaker that day staying with us. Can we all come stay at your house? Sure. And I had to laugh because about 4 days into it, our hosts, our guest left town, and then our hosts left town. And so it was us staying in her house, a lovely home, and out in Weston. And I had to laugh because I said to David, when I was a kid watching TV and saw her, and if you'd have told me one day I'd be staying at her house and complaining about it, because I wanted my own house, and it felt like it was going to be forever, because I forgot about today. I completely forgot about the good of today, and I forgot to be grateful for today. And sometimes it gets old, I know, being grateful for today when we want things to be fixed. We want things to be our normal way so we can go back to our unconsciousness. We forget to give thanks for what is waking us up and reminding us to pray, to get quiet, to affirm the highest. God is healing me now. The electricity is being healed now. The power is being healed now and reconnecting with me. I'm going to read something else. Just want to remind you. In thy divine wisdom, now erase my mortal limitations. I don't think I can say that enough today. So we're going to look at Luke, the book of Luke, and it is chapter, pretty sure it's 14. Did I not underline that? Oh, I know where to find it. Very quickly here. Yeah, Luke 14:7. It says here, actually, let's start with 1. Now is a very important time. Luke 14, 1 through 11. Now is a very important time. For now is the only time that you can take any action that will make any difference. That's a fantastic reminder. Now is the only time you can take any action that will make any difference. In spite of its tendency to plan, even the ego understands the truth of the moment now. And what's funny, people will let the now pass. And so they'll sit on their couch saying, oh, see, I let that moment pass. Well, it's now again. And it's now again. And it's now again. And we keep letting the nows pass and pass and pass while we sit here now regretting then. Make sure you pay attention. It says, approach the current moment with humility, as if you do not know what the current moment is for. Approaching this moment with this attitude is only a demonstration of honesty, for you cannot know what is coming or what you should do or where you should go. By approaching this moment in honesty and humility, you open up to hear my guidance within this current moment. Approach this current moment with humility. Now, my understanding of humility, the definition of humility, I've been asked, and I prayed years ago, and what I got as the definition of humility is expect God's best. That's humility. To expect God's best in whatever you do. You know the motives of what you do. And so, if you have pure motives, and your motives are that, how can I serve today? How can I awaken today? How can I heal today? Now. Then expect God's best in the outcome. Do not decide the specific circumstances of the outcome. Expect. I'm going into my healing day today. Say, God is healing me now, rather than saying something else. I have no idea what will come from that, but I expect great things from that. I expect great stuff to happen for me and for everybody, because I'm walking in to a new situation. I'm walking into the God is healing me now. And so everybody, today is the first day of the rest of our lives. And today is the most important day. glad we shared it together. Thank you.